fabulous work of time series. So what is time series? You may ask. Is it hard? Is it irrelevant? I'll say, although it's taught in prestigious universities or techniques, you don't have to be one to really understand spaces. And it's really important to learn that concept. And is it irrelevant? I'll say it's very relevant to our daily lives because you rely on a lot of modern conveniences that are based on time series. So let's show you some applications of time series. So based on time series, we can forecast. And forecast is powerful. As you know, we look at weather forecast before we go out to see if we need to carry an umbrella, wear more clothes. And for economists and policymakers, they see forecasts of GDP. So they can see if this country is in a recession, or how deep is it in a recession, and they will need a different fiscal stimulus or monetary stimulus, different packages. And let's define time series. So you have time here, and you have one variable that's called univariate time series, meaning one variable. And on the outside, you have three variables here. Those are weight, the things you eat, also caloric intake, and your workout intensity. So this is a three-variable time series, also known as multivariate time series. You can see there are connections between weight, the food you eat, and the exercise. So I'm exploring the correlation. The forecast model can give us their insights. In this case, their forecast after seeing this input, or you can visualize it as they ate the input and they're happy, and after that they tell you their insights. So how does time series work? Let's look at how it works. This is an example of how time series works. We have all the training data in the blue line and the gray line, that's called confidence interval. Typically it's 80 or 95% confidence interval, and inside that region it's very likely to see the real data in that gray zone. And you can see the actual data, the yellow line, perfectly lies in that region. This is likely in most scenarios, but in some cases the real value might go out. And so the forecast model is helping us to transform the input into their forecasts. Let's do a univariate time series forecast. So the stock I chose was S&P 500. It's an index stock that reflects the performance of the United States economy. And let's do it. So we need the S&P 500 data. And we have multiple columns of data, and it's from Yahoo Finance. Remember, we only need one variable here because it's much simpler for us to understand the workflow of how to process a data analysis. So we just need the close price. That's common practice. We now only have one variable, and let's plot this out. This image looks pretty much stock market-ish. So it looks pretty standard, and that's what we want, the close price. Now remember, forecast models are helping us to finish this. And they eat this input data, and they give us their insights only after they're happy. And they love different things. For example, I love steak, many of you love pasta, we all love different things. But the main things these forecast models are looking at are seasonality and stationarity. Let's first look at the seasonality. As the name suggests, it's whether it is seasonal. So we can now see a perfectly seasonal example. It's made up of 5 repeated patterns, and they're usually continuous. But when you are trying to see seasonal pattern just from your own eye, without any processes, it will be pretty hard. So we need to use different methods. By overlaying the change in every year, so it's a yearly overlay. On the right side, you can see a highly seasonal example, and that's retail sales difference. So in January, you can see a huge plummet. On December, a huge increase. My theory is that on December, where the Christmas is at, people squander their wealth so that they don't have money to pay for their goods in January. That's one likely scenario. But for our data, which is the S&P 500 stock, we can see that the investors aren't that seasonal buyers. They invest consistently. So we don't have to care about the seasonal models because they don't love it. It's not seasonal. They're not going to eat it. They're not going to tell us their business. So they're going to use different models. Okay, let's now look at the other aspect they're going to look at, stationary. This is going to be a little harder, but it's not that hard. So you can see the data have a trend, mean value is not zero, so it's stationary. It's not stationary. And this stationary data does not have a trend, and that mean value is zero. So how to transform to this image from the image above? We're going to take a difference. So let's think about it. At day 3, it's $5. At day 4, it's $7. So it experienced a $2 increase. And we're going to plot the difference on this plot. So the plot is eventually going to have a mean value of 0 and does not have a trend. And right now it's stationary. It looks stationary, but is it? We are going to have an ATF test to see if it is stationary. And after the test, we can see that the difference data is indeed stationary. So we now have two data. One is the stationary data, and one is not stationary. So I'm not saying that the not stationary data is bad. They all fall into different appetites, different models. Some of the models love it, but some of them don't. Now we finish cooking. So it's like we are processing this data from not stationary to stationary. We are changing the menu. And we should feed the models right now. So we have 3 different models, the naive, ARIMA, and ETS. These are different models, but we don't need to look deep into this. We just need to understand that there's a model called seasonal ARIMA that's also called S ARIMA. This is when our data is seasonal, we can feed it into the S ARIMA model. It will turn out to be better. And we can use hybrid models. So if 2 models ate your data and you are having a discussion, sort of like a discussion, and they will usually produce better results, but not always. And you can combine it with other analyses, like independent component analysis. And by doing so, you can sift out the noise components so that you will have a better forecast. And we are going to compare these models, the 3 models over here. And here is the error value. Here is the ARIMA model, and here is the ETS. The error value, the smaller the better, so you can see ARIMA is the best, but ETS follows very close. You can see 0.001 difference. To illustrate, to show you how this slight difference is going to be in our final forecast output, we are going to show you the ARIMA and ETS. Okay, here's the forecast result. Remember, the ARIMA model is one that has a lower error value. So it has a smaller confidence interval, meaning it's more precise. It has a smaller range. And for the ETS, it has a bigger range. For example, then you guess your age. You say 20 to 40. That's not so precise. And 20 to 25 is much more accurate, right? So you will to build a better stock market forecast? So as you can see, we have still a pretty wide range. How to narrow it down to make it more accurate? We can teach you newspapers. Through the help of existing machine learning tools, we can transform the text in the newspaper into values that represent smooth volatility and different sorts of things, and combine it with our close price and figure out some correlations, and it will help the forecast results. Now, when you check weather again, I really hope you can remember this time series presentation.